Hello beloveds, welcome to my channel. I am currently at home, hanging out, eating a popsicle, and I'm really excited to do a Q&A with you guys. This is actually my first personal Q&A on my channel. And firstly, I just want to thank you all for sending in your questions. I got some really good ones that I'm looking forward to answering for you. The first question is, how old are you? What is your astrology sign? And do you follow astrology? So I get asked this a lot actually, and I am 28. I just turned 28 in October, and I'm a Libra. I don't really follow astrology that much. I'm definitely interested in discovering more about it, but I never really got into it and never felt like I resonated with a Libra because I have an older sister whose birthday is about a week before mine, and she's also a Libra. And we are honestly polar opposites in every single way. So I guess at a young age, I never really got into it because that never really made sense to me, how we could be so different but the same signs. Do you believe in letting go of attachment, and how does that affect your relationship? I do believe that attachment is the root to all suffering, and we tend to latch on to things in this physical world, especially people and in relationships. So I definitely think that it's a healthy thing to let go of these attachments. My best advice for doing so is to just meditate, and meditate on letting go of these attachments or the energy between you and another person, or it could even be a material possession or something that you feel you're thinking of too often, or maybe getting anxious about having to part ways with this thing or person. I have a cord cutting meditation that I will link below that is all about letting go of the energetic cords between you and past lovers or even current lovers, so you can check that out below. What are some of the things you do daily to stay connected to the divine feminine within? So I work a lot with the goddesses, mainly the Hindu goddesses. As you can see, I have some goddess meditations on my channel, and it's not so much about praying to something outside of yourself, but rather finding that power within yourself, your feminine essence that we all have. So I do many of these meditations and call upon some of the goddesses when I feel that I need their energy in my life. It could be strength from Kali or grace from Lakshmi, and I will definitely post more about these goddesses on my channel in the near future. Another thing I do to raise my Shakti energy is kundalini and tantric practices, which will also be up on my channel, but you can look them up online. And there's so much you can find on raising your Shakti energy. And really anything that just makes you feel feminine, beautiful, and sensual. Maybe embracing your sensual pleasures. So this could be taking a hot bath with flower petals and playing beautiful music, or even just locking yourself in a room like I do sometimes and blasting some of my favorite music and just dancing freely. That for me is my favorite way to connect to the divine goddess within me. Do you have any safety tips for traveling the world as a solo female? Researching the places that you'll be traveling is definitely my #1 tip. Know which neighborhoods are safe and which ones to avoid. This is very important. You can also go onto government websites for that country and find out which places to avoid, and even scams that are common in this country or crimes. I also recommend just being aware of your surroundings. If I'm in a foreign country by myself, I don't ever drink alcohol or do anything that could potentially put me in a dangerous situation. I even avoid trying to go out at night if I'm not sure how safe the area is. Don't wear a lot of flashy jewelry or clothing. Try to draw as little attention to yourself as possible. Try to fit in and look like a local if you can. Even if my phone doesn't work in a foreign country, if I get in a taxi, I'm always on it, or even pretend to call someone so it at least seems like you're in contact with someone. If I feel nervous about the cars, because sometimes taxis in undeveloped countries aren't actually marked as a taxi, before I get in, I take a picture of the license plate, make sure that the driver saw this, and then I get in. Know some of the local language if they don't speak English, even basic words. Not only does it make it safer, but the locals love when you put in some effort. And another tip is to stay at hostels, meet other travelers, and travel with them, if that's an option. Advice for traveling to underdeveloped countries as a vegan. So I had to learn this the hard way. When I started traveling, I didn't realize that many undeveloped countries don't have many options was for vegans. And this put me in some very unhealthy situations, such as living off white rice and hot sauce for 2 months. So my best advice for this would be to just plan ahead. I always now travel with protein powders and any supplements that I feel will help me. This can include maca powder, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and vegan multivitamins. It's not very common for countries not to have options, but it is always good to plan ahead of time. For a while, I even traveled with a little magic bullet in my suitcase so I could make smoothies in places that didn't really offer much. Most places will have fruit. If you have protein powder, you can make a quick smoothie, and that's always a good option. How do you know when you're financially and mentally prepared to travel or move to another country? I really want to, but I'm not sure I'm ready to take the leap. So I'm probably not the best person to answer this because I went to China on a one-way ticket the first time I traveled by myself with about $20 in my pocket. But my best advice is to honestly just go for it. If you really want to do it, stop thinking about it so much and book the ticket. If you're looking to move to a country, I definitely recommend trying to find a job in your area of work beforehand if possible, depending on what your budget is and how much you've saved. I usually have work lined up for me in most countries just so I know that I won't be spending all my money while I'm there. And I really just think you should listen to your intuition with this. If it feels like the right time, go for it. It's actually a misconception that traveling is really expensive. There's tons of resources out there to help you travel on a budget. Do you believe in finding the one? In Tantra, we can say that it's not really about finding the one, but making your current partner or anyone that you'd really like to the one. And what that means is if you meet someone that you really click with and you share the same values and plans in life, through deep connection, you can make that person your soulmate. I never really believed that there was just one soulmate for everyone out there. I think in your lifetime you can be open to having many soulmates, and those are just people that impact your soul deeply and throw you into your divine purpose. I don't really think that we have to limit ourselves to just one person in a lifetime as the one. And I also think that puts unnecessary pressure sometimes on ourselves and our potential partners. What's your opinion on homosexuals raising children, and do you think they can equally evolve as children who have a mother and father role model? My opinion on that is if a child is raised with love and shown love continuously, it doesn't matter the gender of their parents. I think it could actually help them be more open-minded to love in different forms, which could aid in their evolution. I really don't think they would be lacking in any way. Each of us actually has feminine and masculine within us. This is the Shiva Shakti. A lot of people hear this and they think it's men and women, but we actually have both within us. So it is possible to give a child as a homosexual relationship, the masculine and feminine, depending on which partner is more prominent in either at any given time. Can you explain which courses you have done? So I have actually taken a number of courses in my lifetime so far. When I was a teenager, the first job I wanted to do was personal training. I was doing fitness competitions as well, and I wanted to be a nutritionist shortly after I decided to be vegan when I was 16. So I have a personal training certificate from Canada and Australia, and I also became a registered nutritionist from a college in Vancouver when I was about 19 or 20. After that, I began traveling, and eventually I wanted more schooling, so I went to Oregon State University for wildlife biology. I attended for a year and realized that university was very expensive and not necessary for the path that I wanted to take. So following that decision, I began studying yoga, and I didn't want to just be a yoga teacher that studied for 200 hours and now I'm teaching full-time. I actually studied for almost 3 years, and I'm still studying now. I have certificates in Yin Yoga, Ashtanga, Vinyasa, Kundalini, and Tantra. So some say I'm overqualified, but I really wanted to give my best to each class that I teach. And I studied these topics all around the world while I was traveling. Okay, last question. Do you find it hard meeting new people or friends who don't have the same knowledge, awareness, or seem to care as much as yourself? So honestly, this was something I struggled with at the beginning of my awakening, which I would say was in my early 20s. Like many, going through an awakening and realizing that we've been lied to by society for so many years, I had a lot of anger towards the people around me who were still in the matrix or lost and didn't seem interested in everything that I was discovering, and I was so excited to share it with them, but they just actually had no interest in it. And at the beginning, this did make me quite angry, so much that I would just walk out of dinners with friends because I couldn't handle what they were talking about. The main thing to know here is everyone has their own path in this lifetime. Everyone will reach the level of consciousness they're meant to in this lifetime. We cannot push anyone. They can come to us and we can share our knowledge openly, but we really can't push it on anyone, and we just have to love everyone. So that's the main thing I just repeat to myself. Love everyone no matter what level of consciousness they are on. We really have no place to judge anyone. So that is it for the Q&A. I had a lot of fun answering these, and thank you again for the messages. Please comment below and let me know what you thought. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Sat Nam.